Hey guys, if you like to party and the stock block is what you're trying to go fast on, we have a new brand for you here, Stock Block the World. Go to the link in the video and support us. It should eventually lead to t-shirts, hoodies, and other apparel. What's up guys? This Thursday, April 23rd, and we have another round of mods for Allen's C10. As you guys know, we had the issue with the grill collapsing in the first test session, and it made a big mess whenever it knocked the filter off of the catch can. Got a new filter, and we went and blocked off all those right there. We're keeping that catch can there just as because there's also a mount, for the swirl pot, coolant overflow, and fuel cell overflow. What's next is we're going to be installing the FuelTech EGT kit. It works through their CAN system. So all we have to do is give it a power and ground and plug into the CAN plugs in the harness that are already there. That'll just give us more data, and as always, more data, more better. We are also building the catch can for his system here in the back of his truck. As you can tell back here, we've got a lot to work with as far as space goes, so it won't be any issue to get a can the same size as John's mounted back here. I'm going to walk over here. The way we're going to do that is we're going to keep the 4 lines coming out of the valve cover, and we will adapt them to a single or 2 single pieces, and run them to the back through some hoses. So as you can tell, basically there'll be a dash 10 on each side of this, and the fittings will go on that. And then we will proceed to run some heavy-duty hose like we had on John's to the back of his truck. When we did that on John's, it took care of all of our crankcase issues. With methanol, we get a lot of blow-by. And as I said in that other video, I build these 5.3s loose because we're putting a lot into the cylinder. So it gives you room for the piston to expand, but you do get more blow by from it. So that's really the only downside, but thankfully it's really not a big deal to fix. We were hoping Allen's would be fine like it was, because this catch can that was in the front was bigger than ours, but we learned pretty quickly it just wasn't quite enough. So this next step will be perfect and not an issue. Allen's catch can drew up in Autodesk Fusion 360. You can see here we got all the different levels from the baffles, the front, rear, etc. I want to cut all this up off, and then on my wing mirror plasma CNC. This is a very awesome and expensive CNC. This is the plasma cutter that came with back in the day. I will say I don't think it's that great. I was able to kind of mess with it and make it better, but I think they actually stopped selling it with it, so that tells you anything. But anyways, now I'm going to start cutting on this thing. So here we go. I have all of Allen's pieces cut out. The last ones were the baffles. They go internally, of course, and then our sides, top and bottom, there'll be a drain valve on the bottom, and then we'll put a piece of 2.5-inch piping there so it can actually vent. I know some of you guys are like, wow, that's a lot of waste. It's not wasted. It'll get used for other pieces of brackets. Most stuff we cut out is on the table, but anything small as well, that'll all get used
That right there, this piece, is because I didn't properly zero out my y-axis. I messed up. But anyways, that right there is the catch can. The reason I like doing it this way is because it's more consistent, and as long as you zero out your x and y axis correctly, it's definitely eliminates human error, and as long as you design it right too. Now here shortly I can get this thing tacked up and get it all welded together. Alright guys, a little update. I got Alan's catch can done. John got it mounted and the pipe ran through the bed. I would have got more video in the process, but man, have I been busy. So here we go. There's that, and then there's the can itself with the blowdown tubes going back to it. So that way we don't have to worry about the capacity is plenty, and we don't have to worry about any sort of stuff getting up front, you know, as long as no major failure happens. The tubes themselves can certainly retain moisture oil, so you know they will have to be blown out every now and then, but it's nothing really major. It's not a big deal on a car like this, truck like this. Next up will be the EGT setup. You can tell John's already started on it, but thankfully it's a pretty simple setup to wire, and the most complicated part is going to be putting the new bungs on each of the runners on the headers. Alright, so we got the bungs installed on the headers. As you can tell, we went a little close to the port there just to keep them out of the way of the spark plugs. They'll still be accurate there, so I'm not too worried. This side wasn't as bad, but they're still, you know, about even side to side and runner to runner within a little bit. Thanks to how easy this works, you know, it works through the can system. So all we did was give it a power ground and then plug it into the can connector that is already on the harness. See right now you can see all temperature sensors are reading basically ambient within a couple tenths of each other. So now really what's left before we can go testing again is just to get a piece made to reinforce that front grille, and honestly that should be it. As you guys can tell, John got the front grille block off delete done. Obviously we left access to the turbo, but now this thing is substantially more rigid, as you would expect with the reinforcement behind it. Just a simple bracket that ties into the catch can, and it felt pretty tight without that, but just a little bit of extra reassurance. And now I'm actually going to drive it over to Alan's shop since it's not too far away. Alright guys, if you're wondering why I'm sitting here on the side of the road, it's because we assumed it had enough fuel to make it to Alan's shop, and I was incorrect. But he will be here in 1 second. Thankfully it's not far away, but I got maybe a quarter mile from my shop, maybe a half mile total if you include the driveway, and it cut off on me. I thought it flung the belt at first, and because I saw fuel pressure drop, but it turns out it looks like it just ran too low on fuel. So that's easier to fix than throwing the belt, but just gotta wait here for a second. Alright guys, we made it back to Alan's shop after the little fuel incident. It was hell to get this thing primed. Only downside of the mechanical pump is if you run out like that, it is a pain. But we're here, and he's gonna pull it inside because it's kind of convoluted and I suck at it. But now we are ready to go to the track again.